All right, folks, Mark here, RC Crawling and Aviation Adventures. And what we're looking at here, as you know from the title, is my first RC airplane scratch build project. And this is going to be rather unusual. Now, a couple years ago with my channel, my previous channel, Copters, Crawlers, and Planes RC, I took a Willows Hyper Cub kit. I took the plans and I enlarged them about 4 times on the copy machine. And then I started building, scratch building that plane, and it was about 3/4 finished, 80% finished, and then it got ruined in a move, so I never got to finish it. So we're going to do this again. What I did is I simply took a look at my little Sport Cub S, as I showed earlier in this video, holding it up kind of against the drawing here. I looked at that as my model, and then drew as best I could the side view of that model as you see here. And this is actually going to be my plan. What you see here is just, it's going to be my actual plan, at least for the sides. Yeah, for the sides. So now here's what's unusual about it. So it's going to be, well, let me tell you what's, no, first let me tell you the other stuff and then what's unusual. Okay, so it's going to be about the same as the UMX J3 Cub. Now, I just ended up just randomly with a fuselage length of 16 3/4 inches, which is 425 millimeters. When I drew out this fuselage and just eyeballing it, trying to have everything look like I thought it should on the airplane, you know, the right wing size, the right rudder size and shape, all that. I did the best I could on that. And then, and so I ended up with the fuselage length of 16 3/4 inches, 425 millimeters. Now, so once I did that, I said to myself, okay, well, I got to figure out the right wingspan to go with that fuselage length. Now, fuselage length. I knew that my next thing after the, you know, drawing out the fuselage, it was going to be, I'm going to need to figure out what wingspan I'm going to need to have for the fuselage this size. Now, fortunately, my wingspan again is 16 3/4 inches. Excuse me, my length is 16 3/4 inches, which is 425 millimeters. Now, I looked at the J3 Cub specs, even though it's not sold now. Its fuselage length is 430 millimeters. So at 425, I am just barely under the length of the J3 Cub fuselage, so it's just about perfect. All right? And then I used that information to say to myself, well, if I got the same fuse size as the J3 Cub, well, let's go ahead and model the wingspan after that too, because the wingspan they got will work with the fuselage they got. So the wingspan on the J3 Cub is 26.4 inches, which is 670 millimeters. Just for comparison, on the wingspan on the Sport Cub is 415 millimeters, right? So the wingspan at 670 is going to be quite a bit more than the Sport Cub at 415, which is good. And it's going to be the wingspan is going to be virtually the same as, what's going to be the same as the J3 Cub UMX, same. And I've got weight, 250 grams plus or minus, because that's what we're going to try to stay at, more or less. All right. Now, I'm going to put this on pause for a second because my dog needs to go outside right this second. And I'll be right back. All right. There, we'll get some focus. Be right back. All right, back again. So what I've got here is an airplane plan that is virtually the same, going to be virtually the same specs as the J3 Cub. Yes. And that being the case, for my electronics here, I'm going to go ahead and use either UMX J3 Cub or equivalent brushless ESC motor. I'm going to use the UMX servos, props, etc. So I'm going to, since the plane's virtually the same size, don't know yet about weight, we'll go ahead and, I've seen that I can get replacement items for the J3 Cub UMX still online. I'll buy all those replacement parts for the J3 Cub and use them on my little J3 Cub scratch build. Okay, and to see what else, I also mentioned here's some details that we're going to add. Nav lights, 2-inch Dubro super light tires, and a scale interior, like I did on my previous Piper scratch build. 2 seats, one in the front, one in the back, instrument panel, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so I think that's it. I think that is all that needs to be said about this right now. Yeah, and again, I'll use the same exact motor, same prop and spinner. everything. Oh, we're going to have a scale, a clear windshield and windows here, like I have on my little S2, right? And I guess that's about it. We'll put a nice Dubro super light little mini micro tail wheel on there. Okay, so I guess that is it. That is the new project. Getting pretty excited about it. Now, for the clear windows, I'll do just like I've been doing with, well, just like I did with my little Super Cub, Sport Cub. If you go online and look at my channel, RC Crawling and Aviation Adventures, or just look in Sport Cub S2 clear windows, I do several videos showing exactly how I turned my my Sport Cub S2 with stickers for Windows into a Sport Cub S2 with Windows for Windows. It shows how I did that, and it shows the finished result too. And also my flight videos show the finished results. Okay, that's it. So I guess there's nothing else to say, nothing else to do other than shut up. And yeah, so what actually there's a couple things more to say. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this drawing and lay it down on top of a piece of, oh, here's the unusual part. I didn't get to that. So the unusual part about this is normally if you would build something like this, scratch build, you're going to build an airframe out of little balsa sticks, little tiny balsa sticks, and you're going to cover the wings and the fuse with tissue paper or Mylar, right? Well, now I'm not going to do that because they make little planks, if you will, of balsa, and they're about this wide, and they're about, I mean, they're really thin. They're really, really, really thin, okay? Really thin. Furthermore, if I needed them thinner and therefore lighter, I could sand them down. So what I'm going to do, instead of building an airframe of balsa sticks and then putting a tissue paper on, or Mylar on there, what I'm going to do is actually build the walls, is that right? The sides of the fuselage, the top and bottom of the fuselage, those are all going to be solid balsa. No tissue paper, no Mylar. Solid, very, 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 very thin sheets of balsa, if you will. The side will be one piece. The entire side, including the cutouts for the windshield and windows, all one piece. That's all going to be one piece like this, right? And we'll have our window supports and whatnot like that. Yeah, so I'll cut out a piece. If you follow my index finger, the piece is gonna, that I cut out is gonna be like this, like this, and back like that. So again, I'll lay this on top of some carbon paper and on top of my balsa, and I'll trace the outline perfectly of the fuse without the cowling, without the struts and stuff. And with that, I can cut two perfect copies of this: the left side or the port side, and the right side, aka starboard side. So I'll have that done, and then with that done, I can easily figure out my top of the fuselage piece that I'll draw out and cut, and the bottom piece, and the fairing, cowling, and a little air intake down there, and all that kind of stuff. We'll do all that, you know. And so this airplane is going to be made with four pieces: a left fuselage solid balsa piece, a right fuselage balsa solid piece, a top fuselage solid balsa piece, and a bottom fuselage solid piece. Now, like the UMX models, I'll do everything I can to lighten things up. So on the bottom fuselage piece, like UMX does, I'll put a bunch of holes under there. It'll make it lighter and it'll be more cooling for the electronics, so I'll do that. And then inside, and I'll have the battery hatch probably underneath, but inside of this solid wood fuselage, I will have a very light and small but very strong frame. I'll be using little tiny basswood sticks, which are stronger than balsa by quite a bit, but not much heavier. So I'll have an internal airframe of those little tiny basswood sticks, and that will be as strong, if not stronger, than anything else, I think. I guess that's it. 4-channel, obviously. I'm going to go flaps. I'm going to make it so that it can have flaps on it, and you know, down the road, I'll maybe add flaps after I've already gotten it built and hopefully flying and whatnot. Then maybe down the road, I'll go ahead and do a flaps upgrade. So there you go. I guess that's it. Something fun to do. Be my very first scratch from absolutely nothing. Before I had the Willows plans, right, which I just enlarged and then copied larger. But with this, I'm just totally starting absolutely from scratch with a hand drawing here, and I'm going to follow this hand drawing exactly. And I'll find out, I already know the wingspan that I need from the UMX J3 Cub dimensions, because this plane is virtually the same size. I'm going to have to find out what the dimension is from the forward, from the leading edge of the wing to the trailing edge of the wing. Have to find that out. But I'm going to build everything same specs as that UMX J3 virtually. And then there we go. We'll see what happens. So Mark here, RC Crawling and Aviation Adventures. Video number 1, scratch building a Piper J3 Cub. And hope you'll come back for video number 2, which will be where I've actually traced, or maybe I will show the tracing. Yeah, I think I'll show the tracing of the I think I'll show tracing along my drawing with carbon paper underneath, under the balsa. And then I'll show the balsa with the lines drawn on it. I'll show the cutting out of the pieces, and we'll just go from there. All right, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. And have a great day.